Okay, so scanner. When we run a scanner, like we did in this code here, it is, yeah, the scanner is expecting that whatever you put in there is going to be a string. It's expecting that you're going to put in a name. It's just the way the scanner is built. So that's kind of like not super useful. Like if we want to like make a calculator like we talked about, or use any sort of other inputs, like we want to be able to like take in numbers and like actually manipulate them and change them and do all sorts of different stuff. So that's where this section, it's really important. It's a little bit challenging, I think, to begin with, but we're going to use this command, int parse, or integer.parseInt, and it's basically a command that converts a string into an integer. So if we look in here, we basically just need to wrap, so like, let's put this in here. Let's say, give me a number. And then in here, we're going to save an int num, and it's going to be equal to, well, let's just try and run it like this. We hit run, and it's going to give me an error, right? Because it's saying, oh, we need to have num. Well, let's give me a different error. Let's see. It's giving me an error because it had mismatching variables. But here, it's giving me an exit here. And it's giving me, again, as my previous student would call it, like alien language. Error, incompatible types. It's not actually that much alien language, but that's what my student always said. String cannot be converted into an int. That's the error, and it's telling us from line, does it give us an error? Yeah, it gives us line number 8. So line number 8, we're getting an error here. Int num is equal to reader dot next line, blah, blah, blah. This produces an error because a string cannot be converted into an int. This reader dot next line will produce a string, but you are assigning it to be an integer. Java is dumb. It's not going to be able to figure that out for you. But what we could do is say an integer, using this command, wrapping the, and we just put these parentheses all the way around this line. And basically what this is going to do is going to take in a string, and then this fancy command that we did not make is going to convert it into a integer. So now if we run this again, oh, you know, I think we're going to need, why is it still name? Oh, I converted back to the name. Not sure why. I'm going to say undo too many times. Now if we run it, oh, it's just going to be, yeah, it should be working. Give me a number, taking a little time. We put in 5, and it's going to say, hey 5, I didn't change that part. But so now it works. An error, I wonder, something you might be wondering is, okay, well if I put in this is going to convert numbers into an integer, but what if I do something like, so if I put in 5, it's going to take in the number 5, like quotation marks 5, and it's going to convert it into 5, the number that now we can mess with. So we could do system out print like, just to be clear about what we could do here, we could do something like this. And now whatever number I get, it's going to subtract 1. So give me number 5, it's going to print out 4. So we can actually manipulate that. It's no longer a string. A question that might come up here, hopefully if you're thinking about this, you should be thinking like, well, okay, what happens though, this is expecting a string, and then this thing is going to take that string and turn it into an integer, and we're going to save that integer. Let's see what happens. I think I have a pretty good idea about what's going to happen here. So let's see, what if I put in, okay, so like, we're going to try and convert whatever we put in here into an integer, but what if we put in something in here that's not an integer, like hello? So we're putting in an integer, we're putting in hello as a string, and then this command is going to try and change this string into a number. Let's see what we're going to get. We're going to get an error. So number format exception for input string. Again, this is maybe where the alien language comes in. I'm basically saying that this thing is expecting to get a number that it can convert, like a string number, I guess, that it can convert, but we put in hello. Like hello doesn't convert to a string, or excuse me, the string hello doesn't convert into an integer. Like there's no, it's a string, it's not a number, so it's giving us an error there. Last one before I go, I call this whatever number I want, and that's going to work, right? Because this is a whole number. What if I did, what if we put in another type of number? Let's see if we did in like 1 point, also going to give us an error. So maybe think about, why is that giving us an error? Why does 1.62 give us an error, but 1 doesn't? And the answer to that might be, when we take in 1.62, we take it in, it converts it into a, 1.62 is a double, but this one's expecting an integer, expecting a whole number. If you don't give it what it wants, it's going to produce errors for you. So that's my second part on doing this. I think this is a really important idea that sometimes gets overlooked. Students kind of struggle with it later on.